going on? It is Doug Cunnington here, and hopefully this stuff is working. So welcome to the live stream. Today is a day early, so a lot of people probably realize that, and my scheduling just worked out that way. So please let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I think it should be working. Cool. I am checking on it myself here. I'm trying to pause it, so okay. It's always a little sloppy when you first get started here. And I'm out of my normal area. I'm at my childhood home, my parents' house here in the Georgia area. So yeah, around the holidays, things are a little bit different. And basically I'm trying to fit in my live stream when I can. I got some other plans this Friday, so we moved it a day early. And that's something we can do. We can move it a day early. We may have fewer people in here. I didn't publicize it too much. I just put it on YouTube, so people are probably going to get the notification and hopefully catch up on it later. Now, one thing I may do, I always threaten this, but it doesn't turn out that I do it all too often, is potentially I can do some live streams from my phone in just different potentially interesting locations, or maybe just like different locations. So because I'll be out doing various things, that could be something I do. Maybe other people will join with me and stuff like that. We got a couple things we're going to talk about today. We'll look at my agenda here. So we'll talk about the Atlanta Meetup. So we had a meetup while I was here in Atlanta. Got to meet some students from the course and all that. Very cool. Some other people showed up too. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I will talk about connecting writers with people that want writers. So I got an email from, this happens every now and then, so I'll sort of lay it out. But I have a dilemma. Although I think I kind of know what I'm going to end up doing with it, but I have a little bit of a dilemma. And then the other part is a very cool course that is new. It just came out yesterday. It is extremely popular, so far from what I can tell. And I'll talk about that. It's about content and templates and kind of like some awesome stuff that I am into with my project management background. And hopefully I'm not clipping here. I'm trying not to talk too loud. So basically, I will talk about this awesome new course. And I see some people are in the chat asking a few questions. So let's see here. We have Arsh. What's going on? We have Devin, Hamza, and Arsh. Arsh ask, how can you join my course? So you should sign up for the email list. All right. So sign up for the email list and you can check it out. I think we may have exchanged some emails, Arsh, or maybe I just saw you in YouTube comments. But anyway, if you're on the email list, you will get an opportunity to enroll. So I try and keep it locked down. Motherfucker. It's so funny. The phone does not ring, and every time that I've sat down to record something live, the fucking phone rings like 30 times. So, okay, I have no clue. And it's like cordless, so even if I unplug it and everything, it'll still ring. Anyway, it's hilarious. Literally every time I've done a live stream, every time I've done a fucking live stream, the phone rings off the hook. It's bananas. Okay, let's move on. I'll just pretend like it's not ringing, but you'll know how I really feel. All right. So I'm going to move on to the couple other segments here. So if people have some questions, you can ask in the chat. If it is relevant for what I'm talking about right then we'll go for it. We'll go for it. If it's not relevant, then I'm just going to proceed with my agenda. So, and by the way, I've tested this many times. So I've done I don't know, maybe 100 live streams, and basically if I just answer random questions, it sort of degrades into some nonsense. But if we stick to a tight agenda, it works out awesome. So that's what we're going to do in general. And thanks, folks. Do say hello when you're hopping in. Let us know where you're from, all that kind of stuff. If you see questions that you can potentially help people with in the chat, that's fantastic. If you could help each other amongst yourselves, I love that. You know, it builds community, helps people out. and it helps me stick to my agenda here. So Richard, what's up? Jeremy Jacobs, good morning. Dennis is on. Mo Mula, what's up? Ishrat, and cool. And if you just hopped in when I was like swearing and cussing because the phone was ringing, everything's cool. Everything's fine. Just little funny that the phone rings a bunch. The phone rings a bunch. All right. Before we get into the Atlanta Meetup stuff, I want to let you know that this live stream is brought to you in part by Ezoic. And Ezoic is a software platform that helps website owners like yourself, or if you're getting ready to own a website, make more money from their sites. And Ezoic uses machine learning, basically AI, and the goal is to provide a better visitor experience, which in turn helps you. Now, why is that? So Ezoic's AI optimizes the revenue on a per visitor basis. Now, honestly, I didn't know much about Ezoic before. I spend most of my time on Amazon affiliate sites and affiliate marketing, and I don't even mess with display ads. So I kind of thought that Ezoic was just another display network. I thought it was just another ad network that you could sign up for, but it's not. It's a lot more than that. It's an end-to-end platform that you can use like a drag and drop ad placeholders, and as opposed to my old method, which was basically like trying to parse code and edit code and append it and all that kind of stuff. So this is much easier to put the ads where you want it, where you want them to go and where you want to test them. And that is one of the best things that Ezoic does. So it tests the ads, it tests the locations, the ad types, and it helps optimize revenue. So it'll do more of the things that are working well and less of the things that are not. They just rolled out a new piece of functionality. It's the Site Speed Accelerator, and it helps your site load faster, like you would imagine. And it automatically does the things that are best practices. So optimize images, lazy loading. It'll take care of CSS optimization, all the complicated stuff that is kind of hard to set up on other plugins. So check out the free 7-day trial for, I think it is just for the Site Speed Accelerator, but go check out Ezoic. All the things that I mentioned before, plus there's a lot of other like functionality buried in there. So I need to dig in deeper with my Ezoic account, but check them out if you haven't before. So thanks to Ezoic. Moving on. So the Atlanta Meetup turned out pretty awesome. So I sent out a couple emails. I actually sent it out to my whole entire email list, and it confused a couple people. They were like, hey, I'm not in Atlanta. Why are you emailing me this? I'm in, South America or Europe or fill in the blank. People were from all over the world. They were like, hey, I'm in India. So if you're in India, let me know, but I'm not in Atlanta. But anyway, I sent it out because people are often not located like for whatever like field I have in their account or whatever. So I sent it out to everyone, and we had about 10 people show up. It was awesome. I bought everyone lunch, bought everybody drinks. I even got these small notebooks, gave them out to everyone, and it was pretty awesome. Very, very interesting thing was I kind of recognized someone, and I think, she maybe recognized me, maybe not, but I was like, hey, I went to this high school, I'm from this area, blah, blah, blah. So she graduated 1 year ahead of me. And I was like, you know what? We rode the same school bus. So we rode the same school bus like through like middle school and high school, I guess. So she and her family lived like, one neighborhood over. And I don't remember if I ever talked to her before ever, but we just kind of recognized each other and then figured out like, naming some streets around here. So very small world, very, very interesting. So turned out well. A lot of the people, didn't know each other. Most people didn't know each other, but a couple folks did. Like they've seen each other around, they emailed each other. So that was kind of cool. A couple folks that were on or that have been on the podcast before and the YouTube channel, Marty McLeod and Evan Porter, They both wrote a couple articles for me as well at Niche Site Project. So it was very cool to meet those guys in person. And yeah, it was a nice little gathering there. Nice gathering overall. So when I'm back in Atlanta, I'll probably have another session. It turned out well. And I will probably ask those folks to help organize it, because that'll be a lot easier. I basically didn't know like where to go, where to organize it. We ended up going to On the Border, it was kind of in an older strip mall area, so it wasn't too crowded. Honestly, it wasn't crowded at all, and I was able to take up more real estate than we really needed, which was great. It wasn't too loud in there. I knew if I went to, my regular sort of zone, it would have been Taco Mac. And if people know Taco Mac, it's like a loud sports bar. Football games are on everywhere, other sports are on, and it's very loud in there. They do have a massive beer selection, which, funny enough, I met up with friends afterwards. So I met up with a few of my friends at a Taco Mac after the meetup and had a bunch of beers. So that was good. That was fun. And thanks everyone for hopping on. And like I mentioned, do say hello. We see Tosh. We got Making Sawdust. We got AJ, Arsh, and Matthew, Blacksmith. Arsh is asking, you really want to sign up? Arsh, send me an email and let me know. I have a feeling that you just need to stick with it. You'll get the link to sign up. Like here's a little behind the scenes for people. There's a whole email sequence because the course is expensive, and I'm trying to deliver a lot of value ahead of time for 5-Figure Niche Site so that you feel confident to enroll in the course, that I can help you and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind, Arsh. People that are signing, or if I send you the link and you go straight to the sales page, you're probably not going to buy it. Believe me, I've tried. So there's this very specific reason why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. But thanks, Arsh, for asking. If you really want to get in, send me an email. Okay, send me an email. Best Massage Tech, it says Atlanta meetup was great, awesome. And then we got Bill, what's up? Good to have you on. Yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. Really appreciate it, Bill. I saw your email that you sent, and yeah, it was fantastic. I need to do a meetup in the Boulder area. I actually have a good location that I can go to. There's beer there already. It's a private location. It'll be quiet. I can control all the variables out there, and I just haven't done it yet. So probably once I get back in the new year, I'll hook something up. Okay, so the Atlanta meetup was a big success. Really enjoyed it. I recorded a little bit, so I will be releasing that before too long. A little bit editing I'm going to have to do, but turns out, and for the folks that were there, it seemed a little bit loud, but using the microphone and my recorder and all that stuff, the audio is pretty clean. You can hear there's a little background, but the audio is pretty solid there. So moving on to connecting writers with people that want writers and the dilemma that I'm in. So someone sent me an email yesterday. This happens probably once or twice a month. So someone will send me an email. Hey, Doug, I've been following you for a long time. I'm a writer. I want to, do some writing for you. Let me know if you need help. I don't, right? So there's a couple issues with it. Number one, it's just a random person emailing me, even though maybe I've seen him or her around in the chats, or maybe they've exchanged emails with me. But I'm personally nervous to, have someone write for me, because then they'll know the niche that I'm in. Now, I know some people, just share their sites, but I try not to, because I make a lot of money from my sites. So I try and keep it locked down as much as I can with, different hosting accounts, just everything. I try and separate everything out. So anyway, the point is that's one aspect. Further, they're like, hey, well, if you don't need anything, can you introduce me to people that want writers? So, they're asking me for a little help. So that's one piece of it. The other side is I have people that are in my course or folks that are following me, and they say, hey, Doug, can you introduce me to your writers? So number one, if I have writers working for me, I probably don't want to share them. I spend a lot of time and money and effort to train them, to get them up to speed. So for me to just like give you someone, give you contact info for someone that I've spent all this time training is kind of presumptuous, right? So unless you're a student, if you're a student, I've hooked up students with stuff before because we have engaged in a transaction before, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So you get special treatment if you're a student, basically. I don't treat you like a random person because you're not. So there's a supply and demand, right? Some people want to write, some other people need writers. But here I am in the middle. I don't know the writer, and I don't know the quality. I don't know if they are legit and anything. I don't know if they're reliable. I don't know any details because I haven't worked with them in a professional capacity. So there's a supply and demand for sure. However, when I step back, I'm like, okay, if I introduce them and it works out good, then they win. I lose. I get nothing, right? So I get nothing out of it. I've spent time introducing them. They may ask me questions and stuff, and I've already given both parties, free information. That's why they're contacting me, because I'm a nice guy. So with that said, the bigger dilemma is what happens if I introduce them and it doesn't work out well. Well, that's not good, right? So if I introduce them and then the writer flakes out, or maybe the client doesn't pay on time, I'm in the middle. I'm a party of this now, yet I've got basically I have zero incentive to do extra work. Basically, it's an ask on both sides for me to do extra work, and no one is acknowledging that I'm helping. They're just like, hey, thanks a lot, Doug. That's really great. So it leaves me in a spot where I'm just like, hey, you know what? If you need writers, you're going to have to go find them yourself. Or if you're a writer and you're trying to, get hooked up with people, then, you got to go bust your ass, get on the marketplace, get out there. I don't know what you have to do, right? You got to figure it out on your own. I'm not sure. And this, I'm sure, sounds harsh because I'm sitting here just talking about stuff. And you're out there, maybe you need some extra cash. You want to do some writing or whatever. But trust me, other people have done it. Other people have found writers. Other people have found clients so that they're able to write. So you'll be able to do it. You just got to be a little scrappy and get out there. So sorry if it seems harsh. Sorry may not be the right word. That is just how it is. So I don't want to get into the what would you call it? I don't want to be a matchmaking service for work. Basically, there's other places for that already. So that is sort of where I landed. And the reason why I'm talking about this, someone sent me an email yesterday about this, and I was like, hey, yeah, I kind of remember you. I still don't need any writing. I don't. I want to just hire people in a transactional way. I've also had people say, hey, I will work for you for free, and I don't want that either. I'd rather have a transactional, professional relationship that we can move forward with. So anyway, if anyone has ideas, and I think another place you could do it, is just in these chats and stuff, or in comments. You may be able to talk to people and communicate within the community that way. So, all right. And I see some questions over there. Just a quick reminder. I do have an agenda that I'm generally going to follow. So if the questions are relevant and I have time, I'll probably come back to them. If they're not relevant at all, then I may not come back to them. So I'll see what I see over here. But I do see Francis over there. Francis is a student in Five Figure Niche Site, so he gets special treatment like Bill and some other folks out there. So let me hit that one. Francis says, I'm making $300 a month now. How do you increase it to $500? More links, to reach the top positions or more how-to articles. So, for instance, feel free to shoot me an email on the support email address, right? So I would refer you to, I think it's Unit 7. And generally, you're going to have to look where the gaps are. So if you want to increase your revenue, you probably need to get more links and improve the content on the content that's doing well. So that means the how-to articles are not probably going to help you increase your revenue, but the any commercially oriented content that is product reviews that are affiliate driven, those are the ones where if you increase the rankings, then you will probably start earning more money. So that's what you want to do. If you add more how-to articles, you will generally just end up in a position where you have more traffic, but you're not monetizing. The other thing to note is if you do have a decent number of how-to articles and you're not running any display ads, you should consider it. So just the easiest way is to check out AdSense, right? Put some AdSense on your site. You could use a tool like Ezoic to help optimize that, right? To tie back to our one of our sponsors, our underwriters today. So thanks to Amin on congratulating me on the 100 episodes. And Richard says, do I still use the Hoth? LOL. Yes, you should check some of the other videos for the Age Site case study. The Hoth is crushing it for the guest posting service that they have. So they're doing an awesome job. Philip is on for the first time for a live session live. Thanks for hopping on. And okay. And quick note, yeah, so we see InfoZone says that you added ads to your site. You made $70 and it doesn't affect Amazon clicks. So right there, Francis, just, there's many factors involved here. Basically, by adding some like ad revenue, display ads specifically to your how-to articles, you can put it on your other articles too, but in that way you'll be able to just get a little bit more money. And you're talking about incremental gains, right? So it's a lot more, right? Adding $200 more to your $300 per month, that's significant, right? But you're not saying, hey, I want to 20x this. So adding a few display ads could move the needle for you. All right, let's get back to the topic. I want to point out a brand new course on the content front. So there's a course by my friend John Dykstra from Fat Stacks blog. It just came out yesterday. All right, it is an awesome course. So it is essentially, and it's a course, but really it is a it's framed as a course, but it's really a library of templates. So I'm gonna hop over to the sales page so I can look at it directly here because I don't know all the details. So there are 18 plug and play content ordering templates. So this is, a no-brainer to create a course like this. So basically, John got a lot of emails from his students and folks that follow him. And they were like, hey, can you let me know what templates you use? Can you give us the template? So he packaged it up, 18 of them, and they're ready. So they are the exact templates that John uses to order content from content development pros or other content providers. And basically, he has a few sites. I don't know how many pages he has total, but I know at least one of his sites has over 3,000 pieces of content. So these are battle tested templates. I highly encourage you to check them out. And here's the big reason. You can get a 50% discount. John always runs these crazy sales. So you can get a 50% discount during the launch period, which is good till basically the end of day on Monday, the 23rd. So it's Thursday now. You got the rest of the day today. So you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you got about 4.5 days here. You got 4.5 days, but I highly encourage you to hop in. the awesome part with John's courses is basically you get everything all at once. You could start using it immediately. And as opposed to, my course, for example, I drip out the content. It takes a little while to go through everything, and I throttle you down so you do all the work. John's courses have a sort of a different goal. They deliver a specific thing, like in this case, content templates. So you get all the templates right away, and then you can start ordering content right away. So definitely check it out. There's a link in the description. I am an affiliate for it, so I get a commission if you actually sign up. So check it out. And let's see if there's any other cool details. And there's a couple frequently asked questions that I will just go through because John has them here. So why should you use content ordering templates? And if you refer back to some of the coaching that I've done, one of the key things to do is use templates. If you don't use templates, you're like recreating and retyping and redoing work over and over again. So if you just have a template and you can send it to the writers or the service, then you're in good shape. You just saved a ton of time. It is probably one of the easiest ways to scale things up. Then you can just get more done. So I will leave it at that. And yes, a couple people noticed that I'm in a different location here. I'm at my parents' house. So I'm sitting right in front of the window. I did a couple of the live streams before, and I ended up, it just looked pixelated. It was too dark. So I'm sitting directly in front of a window. So it looks very dark behind me. I may actually be a little too bright, but it's hard to adjust the blinds. And let me just see if I can, I'm a little washed out, but yeah, we do what we can here. So, all right. So let me hop back over to our agenda and see what else we got going on here. So we got the fat stack stuff going on. Yeah, definitely check it out. His courses have been very popular, very, very popular. And one thing I want to mention here, because some folks are asking about improving content, and just getting more traffic and that sort of thing. And one important thing that I realize I've developed a couple skills. All right, I've developed a couple skills. It's important when you're making these changes to like track your results. And if you don't know how to set up like a custom report in Google Analytics, then you may be a little confused on how do you know if like the things you are doing are working. So let me just play this video. And this is a video, by the way, that I have published before, but videos get buried and then you miss it. And basically this is how you create a custom report in Google Analytics. So for example, you've selected 10 posts that you want to improve. You make some changes with internal linking, for example. Maybe you have some sections that you're adding, you're improving content, all that stuff. And then you want to find out if traffic's going up. So here is how you do it. Hello there, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here, and I'm going to show you how to create a custom report in Google Analytics. I was chatting with a friend earlier today, and she was upgrading some content similar to some things that I have been doing. I've been adding a lot of content to sites like at scale, and I've been improving existing content. And obviously it's very good to track your results. You don't want to just keep doing something and have no clue if it's working. So I'm going to show you how to create a custom report so you can track new content that you just published, or you could track content that you are upgrading. So this video is for a specific, very good friend of mine. So I hope this helps. And let's get to the report. We're on Google Analytics. This is just my sort of landing page dashboard, which is actually the default. So what you do is you click Customize, you click on Custom Reports, and then you'll click on New Custom Report. You will name it accordingly. You need to put in what metrics you want to track. So that is kind of up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do page views here. Then I'm going to do sessions, if I can spell it. We have some commonly used ones here, so it's kind of nice to lean on those. I'm going to do the average duration, and then also commonly used, I'm going to do pages per session, and then I'm also going to do the bounce rate. You could drill it down further if you want. Obviously, there's a ton of metrics out there that you can check. So you do need a destination page is what I am going to track. There are many ways that you can set these up. You can add further dimensions that seem to be nested here, but we're just going to set up an easy, simple filter to do this. Next, we need to add the filter here so we can actually like hone in on exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to include the destination page that matches exactly a specific URL. So I actually went and wrote down the URL earlier. Let me pull that for you. So let's say we're just going to track one. Let's keep it simple. We're just going to do one right now and see what it looks like. That way you'll be able to take this and do whatever you need to do with it. So we're just going to accept it like this. We're going to save it. It's going to show us some stuff, probably over the last week. And we see it's comparing this week to last week for this specific page. So that's cool. It's giving us some information, very interesting. And the numbers here don't matter much, but hey, isn't it cool to see the page views go up? That's nice. We're just looking at one URL right here, one URL slug. Let's say we want to check a couple others in the case of like adding a bunch of new posts and we want to like track more of them. All right, so let's edit. You just click edit and then you can go back and make some changes. All right, so cool. If we are looking at the exact match, we end up with, this right here. But what if instead we want to like check all, in this specific case, I've actually created a silo for this piece of content. So let's say I want to get everything in that silo. Don't worry, I'll show you how to do individual URLs in a second, but in the case that you want to check the silo, you could just change this to regex, which is regular expression, and then you don't have to change anything else. This is cool. Check this out. Click save. It will then show us our report here, and now you'll see it's everything under this whole entire like structure. So this is like the parent page right here. So any of the child pages, the children, and if it's plural, are going to show up here. So you'll notice that some of these are newly created URLs. If you want to get behind the scenes, you actually can go check out how I'm restructuring things. I'll share this information sometime in the future. Okay, so that is how you would do it for a silo structure, but not everyone has that, and it just happens to be something that I'm interested in checking, which is why it was like at my fingertips. But let's put in different URLs. I'll show you how to do that really quickly. So in this case, let's say we're going to look at this URL right here, and then these this other one right here. So we want to look at like more specific URLs. And this is how this is in a silo structure, but don't worry, it could be anything else. Here, you wouldn't have to, it wouldn't have to be part of the same silo. In fact, just to like drive that point home a little bit more, I'm just going to put in like a /hire-me. I happen to know that that is another URL that I have. So what you need to do if you're going to put in multiple URLs like this, you make a list of your URLs. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. And then you're going to type in, it's called a pipe. It is a vertical line right there. It happens to be over the backslash on your keyboard. So if you hit shift and then backslash on my Apple keyboard here, that is the button in between the delete and the return button. So it's over on the right side. You would reach with your pinky. All right, you reach with your pinky there. So you hit the pipe sign, and it does need to be all on the same line. So I'm going to do another pipe sign. Basically, that means or. That is or. All right. So if you're new to programming or anything like that, congratulations. If you put the pipe sign, generally that means or in a lot of languages and stuff. So at this point, I'm going to select all of this whole thing right here. I'm going to copy it. I was going to hit the keyboard shortcut, but I'll show you here. Just copy it. Let's go back over to our analytics. And then we're going to include the destination page. We're going to keep the regex, regular expression. And then we're going to go ahead and paste in all of this business right here. You'll notice the little pipe sign. Again, that means or. This field is small, so that's why I'm working on a little scratch pad over there. Hit save, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, it's just going to show us these 3 URLs right here. What you can do is, you can compare one week to another week, or what I like to do also is don't do the comparison, but a lot of times, like if you just put in the previous couple months along with what you just updated, you'll often see a change. This is skewed and a little bit unusual the way it's like shooting up like that, but hey, that's what you want to see. So that is how you do it. You can, if you end up with something weird and there's some pages that show up that you don't intend to show up, sometimes those are like preview pages or some kind of weird stuff. You can add a filter where you would put in your destination page again. You would exclude it, and then you can exclude the exact URL that you're getting in there as noise. Again, this is a really sloppy way to do it. I'm no expert. This is just how I sort of pieced it together. So I just started creating these sort of reports for a specific case study. It's called the Azoic case study. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, please check out the other videos. It's all about Azoic case study. So you can learn why I got into this sort of reporting and custom reports and all that stuff. Again, Doug Cunnington here from the Azoic Project, and take a look at some of the other videos if you're interested, and subscribe if you like what you see. Thanks. All right. So that was a clip, of course, from another video. So if you want to check that out, you could just search on my channel for custom Google Analytics reports, and it should pop up. So if people have questions, let me know in the chat. We can answer a few here. A quick recap for the folks that are just joining in or coming in late or something like that. The Atlanta meetup was a huge success, a lot of fun, got to meet a lot of people in person. I will have some footage, and I recorded some live Q&A. So that'll have a little bit of editing just because there are a lot of pauses and that sort of thing. But it should be a nice little video overall. And the other thing is there's a new course by my friend John Dykstra at Fat Stacks blog, and he is selling all of his templates out there. So he has 18 templates that he uses for different content types, and it's an awesome set of templates as a library. And it's one of those deals where as soon as you purchase, you get access to everything, so you can check it out. There's a link in the description. I'm an affiliate, so I get a commission if you purchase it. And Michael says, hey Doug, curious why you haven't created your own KGR online program. What does that mean? Do you mean like a course? And if so, I just release it. I just give away the information because it is helpful and it helps build trust. So usually if people try the KGR and it works, they probably trust me, right? They also tell other people, which is pretty cool. So if I sold it, then the idea would not have spread as well. As far as creating software, if you're talking about creating software, I have low interest. The problem with that is basically there's a couple things. So if I created an app or something to give you KGR keywords or to do it for you, it would probably not be very profitable. Here's the problem. You can do it for free. Like you can literally do it for free, and most people are bootstrapped. The amount that I could charge for doing it would be very low, and there's going to be customer service issues. Like I already had, like when I developed the idea, I was like, oh, I have an idea of how you can do an app and it would work and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I don't, I'm not trying to extract every dime that I can. I was going to say the other part is some people have like come at me. They're like, hey, the KGR is just bullshit. It doesn't work. There's so many issues with it. And basically, if I'm not charging anything for it, I have like no direct monetary gain. It is okay if people are like trashing me, saying I'm lying or whatever, and saying that it doesn't work. It is totally fine with me because it doesn't hit my bottom line. So by giving it away for free, it builds trust. People will talk about it. They will share it with other folks. And the other thing is it sort of removes me, right? I don't have an incentive by convincing you. I'm just sharing information. If you want to check it out, that's cool. If you don't want to check it out, well, that's up to you. So, yeah, Michael, that's hilarious. So you asked a decent question. And then when I started talking about it, you had to take a call. So anyway, yeah, you can go back. Basically, I'm giving it away for free. That's the idea. So, all right. And for a while, for the first 6 months or so, I did not release it for free. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and just get it out into the world and people can check it out. Like I said, if people want to check it out, they can. If they don't want to, that's cool too. I'm not trying to convince anyone, but it's information that's out there. There's a book called Free by Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson also wrote the book called Long Tail. You should check out both of those books. And I think I read Free after I released the Keyword Golden Ratio. I was like, yeah, that does make sense. Like if you don't put up barriers for an idea to spread, then it can spread a little bit more easily. And if it's valid, right, then it'll work, right? It'll work and people will share it. And that's actually been better than me trying to charge money for it. Now, the other part is there are people out there that charge money for it and try and make money from my free idea, which is fine because it can help people save time and stuff like that. But, from where I sit, not something, it would just be such a small amount of money for a ton of work. So just not really what I'm trying to do. And let's see here. Got a couple other ideas. That I want to talk about. One is there was someone that emailed me recently, and I was thinking about ranting about it a little bit, but I'll just say there's a way that you can contact people where you can get a response and they will have a favorable impression about you. Or you can do the wrong thing and kind of be a jerk. So I got an email from someone who was kind of a jerk. So I'll just leave it at that. They were kind of a jerk. And then, I read all my emails. I reply back to like most of them. So anyway, I replied back to this person because they got my attention because they were a jerk. They were rude to my assistant and to myself. But the cool part is there's a way that you can contact people so you can engage with folks that are way above your pay grade. Maybe you have no reason to be on their radar, and then you can get on their radar. So for example, my friend Ron Stefanski was telling me that he was emailing with Mark Cuban. We believe it is actually the real Mark Cuban. So I'm actually going to be talking to him in a few weeks about that. But, he crafted a good email. It was engaging enough that perhaps Mark Cuban, and we'll look at the email and everything whenever I do the interview. But I thought it was super cool when he was telling me that. So there'll be a couple topics around that. So, and speaking of Ron, we were chatting, a while back. This is another sort of highlight reel. And at the time, Ron was making about 16K per month profit. He's up higher now. I think he's around 20 plus K per month. And we were talking just about like link building or not link building and the pros and cons for doing it. There are people out there that say, hey, you know what, I'm not even going to worry about link building. I'm only going to publish content and I'm not going to promote my site. I'm just going to like publish stuff and grind it out and maybe it'll work out. So here's Ron's thoughts about like not link building.
I think that's bananas. No, to say that to say link building doesn't matter at all, in my personal opinion and experience. This isn't just opinion. This isn't, this is something that I've lived. Link building will get you there faster, I guess is what you could say. Like, yes, you can create a ton of content, and if you use the KGR, the keyword golden ratio, you will get rankings, you will get up there, and yes, you will. But even though you're getting served for those relevant results, and even though you may be getting, views on your website, what are the chances of that person's a webmaster? What are the person that webmaster is going to link to you? Not very high. So like some people say, oh, I don't do link building. I will say, and Doug, you know a lot about the history. I think I've overdone link building at the past at times, a little too hard. And we could talk about that later or whatever, but for the most part, when it comes to link building, I personally feel like it's an absolute necessity. You don't have to go crazy on it, but like after like 6 months, you're going to find if you are just creating content, you're going to be writing to nothing and you're not going to see much. Like I have a website right now that I'm working on. We have, I'm trying to think, I think it's about 80 articles, 90 articles right now. I am getting maybe one visit a day, maybe. And it's been about 3 months. But I know that that's okay because I'm going to do link building and I'm going to kind of build it up. So I think link building is a requirement personally. I think that you have to at least do some link building in order to be really successful. That's how I feel.
Cool. And I think because we have so many questions on that, we may hold off on some of the link building details because I think we could actually someone just said, just talk about link building all day in one of the comments. That was Josh. But basically I tend to agree with you. You can get away with not building links, but if you build links, it's just like putting, gas on the fire.
It really is.
Or some other highly flammable thing that's like useful. Like I think people like the idea because they don't know how to do it, or it seems scary, or they want to do less work. Right?
It's like sales, because it's like link building there. If you get a 1 to 3% conversion, so that means every 100 targets, you get 1 to 3 of them to link back to you. That's pretty average decent. I mean, that's not completely terrible. Like, and that number, it's like, can you sit there and deal with all that rejection over and over and over? Like really good people are getting 7 to 10%, but like, that's not, 1 out of every 10 isn't very encouraging, it's tough. So like, I think a lot of people don't want to do it because it's just full of rejection. It's not fun. I love it. I don't know why, and I'm glad I love it. I don't even know why it makes me tick, but I love it because I think it's because I know all my competitors aren't doing it. They're not focused on it, and they don't really focus on it enough. They don't think it's important enough. And I can tell you definitively, 1000%, it is extremely important, because I have websites where I don't do it and nothing's happening, and then I start doing it, and then guess what? All my rankings start climbing. It always happens, always. And that goes for Amazon websites or Amazon affiliate websites. That goes for informational websites, any type of website. It always is going to help because it just gives you more authority. That's all it does. So
yes. And we could, like I said, we could go on and on and on and on. But just for the main site that we've been talking about, do you have an idea like how many referring domains are pointing to it, just to give people an idea the craziness that is going inside?
I'm gonna have to look on Ahrefs actually for that one.
That's all right.
I've got it up here right now. So at this point, I have 419 referring domains to that one. So that's the total. But I will say, and I don't know anyone else who's like maybe a little bit more advanced, it's like watching this, I've been getting more spam links lately. So like of those, maybe 350 are like valid. I don't know why. It seems like there's like been an influx across all my websites that more people have been doing that. So like probably valid, like 350, 360 domains total. But
Crazy.
that website, I did a decent amount of link building in the beginning. I haven't really done much link building other than that because in terms of the internet, I'm basically the number one result for that particular like term and that particular niche. I don't really need to keep doing the link building because a lot of my content is ranking. So now I am getting those links organically, which is like the coolest feeling in the world, because you're just like, oh my gosh, I just got a link. Like I get links from like a government website all of a sudden. It's like, well, hello there, like
Right,
thank
right.
you. Like that's awesome. So nowadays I don't really do much for that one, but it's already reached that top level. When you're at a website in the beginning and you're not even close to that top level, you absolutely have to do link building, in my personal opinion. So
Do you know how many, I don't know if you'll remember this, but do you know how many referring domains or links you got before you hit that sort of critical mass where like now you are the authority and people will link to your site because you have the best information?
So I had a very strange growth trajectory with this particular website. To backtrack just a little bit, when I created this website, I started to get a little bit of organic traffic without doing any link building. So it does work. In the beginning, I wasn't doing any. What ended up happening was this particular resource, this particular website, it actually went very, very, very viral on Facebook. And to be clear, it's a resource. This is an informational resource. This wasn't like, like, oh, 9 ways to do this. Number 6 will surprise you. It wasn't what those types of posts. It was like a database type of resource helping people with some particular information. It went viral on Facebook like crazy. And what ended up happening was, I mean, this like shut down my server a few times. Like it was like a big deal. Like I was getting 200-300 people on at every second of the website, which was crazy. But the whole thing was that basically went up and then it went down because that's what viral stuff does. And then after that is when I thought about link building because it was like, okay, it made all that money. It's a great resource. Now some people know about it, but I need to make this stick. How can I make it stick? And I already knew about link building, but I wasn't doing it. Like most people don't want to do it. And I was like, I'm just not going to. But then at that point, I was like, man, this can really earn some decent money if I figure this out. So then I started to do link building. So at that point, I would say, I think I probably only got like maybe 30 to 50 links total, somewhere in that range for it to really be like start, like critical mass solidifying in the search results. And then I've just been adding so much content onto it every month or whatever for so long now, that it like I kept ranking for more and more, and then more links kept coming in, and now it's just getting more and more and more authoritative, like naturally. I don't even really have to do much anymore. So
Awesome. All right, that was Ron Stefanski over at the 1 Hour Professor. So we did a couple interviews, and you could check those out on the channel. So if you just Google or if you search on my YouTube channel for Ron Stefanski, you should find the full interviews. So he's crushing it out there, and he publishes income reports, which are super cool, very detailed. He's been publishing income reports since like 2014 when he first got started, and he was making no money, and now he's doing really well. It's very inspiring because number one, you can see he had a very slow beginning, and it took him a while to find his feet, lay the foundation, and he hasn't had any sort of like hockey stick growth. Nothing crazy. It's just a grind each day, each week, each month. He's been doing it for a while. We got started around the same time with the internet marketing kind of gig in general. So yeah, if you go check out Ron's stuff, you'll be able to get a handle on like potentially what it takes. And it's not fast. And if you just stick with it, you should be okay. Now, Ron and myself, and like John Dykstra and people like that, we get obsessed with things. So I think part of it is the obsession. We like the process of whatever it is we're doing. So even if we're not getting a ton of traction very quickly, we stick with it and we keep grinding it out and trying to get better and better and better. So any other last questions out there? We're going to probably start wrapping it up here. And I do see Derek is on. What's up, man? We missed you in the meetup. We had a good session, and about 10 people showed up. So I hope you're doing well out there, Derek. And Amin was asking about a particular course, which I have no experience with. And So I can't comment on it, but he wants to scale link building and get more links. So one thing that I observe is the huge amount of emails that I get that are garbage from people asking for links. And actually, I had this joker. I've been saving them. First, I mark them all as spam, so everybody realize that you're getting marked as spam out there. Your deliverability goes down, and it's not great for your domain. All right, so you got to think about that. There are ways around it, by the way, but you got to think about that when you're getting marked for spam all the time. Not cool. The other thing is, I think someone was like, "Hey, Mr. Niche Site Project, really they actually sent it to Niche Site Project, but it was like, hi, Niche Site Project Webmaster. We're looking to place links on your site. Let us know. We have a budget." And I was like, all right, it's $10,000. Because I was like, you know what? If they want me to publish something and give them a link, even on Niche Site Project, I'll do it for $10,000. That's pretty good. If I just put like one link on there, all right. So I made it high enough. And then they replied back. They said, how about $10? And I was like, you're not even in the right ballpark. Like, this is not even close. And I was like, nah, like it's actually 10,000. Like, not that's way too low. $10 is much lower. Like, you missed it. And then they were like, how about 30? So obviously it didn't work out. And I was like, what are you even doing? That is bananas. So anyway, I know that's not what's in the course that you're asking about, Amin, but in general, I think scaling in a way that is like basically making the internet a more terrible place is not great. And I'm not saying that's in the course, but I know like there are automated ways to send out a lot of emails in a short time with very little input from the person on the other end, and it can get sloppy. I have replied back to people and they didn't get the response because the software wasn't configured right or something went wrong. So there are probably a couple little pitfalls, but someone like Ron, which we just played the clip from Ron, basically he was able to scale in certain ways using certain tools, and he's been able to just get a lot of links in a very efficient way working with his team and that sort of thing. So all right, I see just a couple more questions out there that we'll hit, and what I'll do, I'll let people ask a couple more here, and I'm going to play a clip from my friend Spencer Hawes. This is from another interview that I did, but he went from roughly 150 per month to 1,300 per month for his latest niche site project case study. I think it's number 4, and this was back in August, so I think he's actually doing even better, and I encourage you to check out the full interview with Spencer, but let me just play this one here.
Obviously, by the name, this is the 4th time that I've done this. On nichepursuits.com, I like to share what's working for me, and the best way to do that, I've found, is to do what I call a public project, where I basically start from the very beginning and say, okay, I'm going to be building a niche site. I'm going to be sharing everything publicly. That goes for, researching what niche I'm going into, keyword research, how I'm building the website, what plugins I'm using, how I'm doing the content, link building, everything. And so that's what I've done with this niche site project 4. I started in September of last year, 2018. Yeah, I'll let people read all the details, but essentially, I started then, found my niche. I'm essentially outsourcing everything because I'm so busy. And I've been very clear that if people want to build a site cheaper than I'm building, if they're able to write the content themselves, it's not going to cost as much money. But I've hired writers. I've outsourced really everything on the project. I am just the mastermind behind it, doing the keyword research. And once I get the plan in place, I've got people sort of fulfilling that. And so I built it, and it took almost, well, I made some commissions, and I think December was the first time I actually had earnings. So September, October, November, almost 4 months old. And then when it hit just a little over 6 months, 6 to 7 months old, it started earning and growing much more consistently. I should probably pull up my numbers, but it was something like, $150 in, after it was 6 months, and then it's grown consistently and peaked at about a month ago at just over $1,300 in August of 2019, about $1,300, had a small dip to like $1,100 in September. And I think that's, partially seasonal, partially for other reasons that I gave. But the site's doing really well. It's grown. I expect it to grow significantly in the next 6 to 12 months. And I've laid it all out publicly. And since it is public, I've revealed the domain at this point. It's owntheyard.com, where I cover basically everything that's happening in people's backyards. It could be backyard gardening, backyard games, backyard gear. And so that's kind of the niche that I'm in, and the site if people want to check it out.
Cool. And I think, one of your first public case studies is one that I followed, and I learned a ton. So highly encourage people to definitely check it out. I get questions all the time, like, what should a site look like? What should I do for a particular review? And so on, like, what should a table look like? All those details, like, you can go dig in and follow like what Spencer's done from the very beginning. So everyone check that out. And by the way, there are spreadsheets. I was just studying before we started the call. So like every month is broken down, like what the income's from, where the expenses are going each month, so you could track it along the way. And right now, are you ROI positive, or are you still catching up right now?
So still catching up right now. Yep. Because I've outsourced everything. I've invested several thousand, between $15,000 and $20,000, in the year. The site has like 180 articles. That's where the bulk of the investment has come from, is all the writers there. So I've spent more than I've earned at this point, but I'm catching up. And if I were to stop investing so heavily, instead of doing 15 to 20 articles every month, if I just scaled that back to 3 or 4, I would be, making up like $1,000 every month pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yep.
I think it's key.
All right. That was Spencer Hawes from Niche Pursuits, and you can check out the full interview out there. That was just a short clip. And he has a public case study running out there. It's been, I guess, about 14 months or so since he launched it, and I think he's hit like record Amazon affiliate levels right now. And I will answer a couple more of these questions, and then we will wrap it up for the week. So quick couple mentions before I hit those other questions. I do see the Real Dance Hall fan. You were watching videos and you saw I was live, which is cool. So thanks for hopping on. You are catching me right at the tail end. So just when we finish here in a few minutes, just go back to the beginning, and then you'll be able to check out the full episode, right? So the quick things that I want to mention. Number one, thanks for Ezoic for underwriting, partially sponsoring some of these episodes out there. So really awesome. Check out Ezoic. They have a new site speed accelerator. All right. Site speed accelerator out there. So check it out. There's a link in the description. And my friend John Dykstra over at Fat Stacks blog, he has released a new course, a new library of templates. So basically there are 18 templates in there. It's 50% off now. There's a link in the description. So be sure to follow my link down there. And the sale ends the end of day Monday. So you got about 4.5 days to take advantage of the 50% off sale. It is, I think it's like it's all the way until 11:55 p.m. Pacific time. All right. So check it out there. And let's see, a couple more questions that I just happened to see. So Blacksmith was asking about more KGR videos out there, which I can do more. I probably will do more, but there are probably more than 20 out there. And then he said, oh, you know what? I didn't see all of them out there. So there's a ton of content on the KGR, and there are many other questions, but at some point, honestly, you get bored about talking about the same stuff over and over again, which is why I slowly am branching out to some other things. And someone asked about the case study for that Spencer was talking about. So someone can put a link in here. I don't have the ability to link to it directly, but I think if you should watch the whole interview with Spencer, and I linked to it there. Real Dance Hall. Sorry, when we're doing live stuff here, it's not as fun to watch me type things. So it's a little something I learned from doing a few of these. So Vishal says, when I search for all in title, you get two different results. One time it shows 75, and when you go to the last page of the results, it changes to 20. Just look on the first page. I don't know why you're looking through all the pages there. Seems like it's a waste of time as far as I could tell. But if you just want to do that, you can, but just go with whatever the number it shows you at the top, just like all the videos. Follow the videos. That is exactly what you do. Someone asked, why not write your own articles? Some people have more money than time, so they would rather pay for it. Maybe they don't want to write. Maybe they don't feel like they have time to do it. And Wesley, my man, says, you like the short clips? I love them too. I get to take a break. It adds some structure. And it seems like I know what I'm doing almost. It's like a real show out here. Someone is asking when the Link Whisper tutorial is coming. I'm not sure. Whenever I get around to it, most likely. I need to get on it. It's been on my list for a little while, but the cool thing, I work pretty far ahead. So sometime in like September, I shot a bunch of videos, and we're just publishing them until the end of January. So at some point soon, I will probably be recording a bunch of other videos, and potentially the Link Whisper tutorial will be one of them. There's probably a couple things that I could show you. Is a fantastic tool. Derek says, will I be doing another meetup anytime soon? Nothing on the calendar. There's a chance there'll be another one later this year, but or later next year, right? So into next year, but nothing in the short term, kind of locking it down with family here. So Amin says Ezoic's good. You're making $500 a month from using Ezoic. You didn't check out the Site Speed Accelerator yet. Definitely check it out. And okay, I think we are good to go here. So thanks everyone for hopping on today. I encourage you to check out the John Dykstra content template library. Very good. Take advantage of the sale while it's on sale. And yeah, thanks Tiempo Total. You got Dennis. Cool. Thanks everyone for hopping on, and we'll catch you next week. If you're not on the email list, go to nichesiteproject.com, sign up for the email list. Just click the green button, enter your name, email. Then I will send you all the templates that I use. Some of them, it's not as thorough. Like John's are very specific about like what he's doing, but mine are like templates. I point you towards other things that are interesting. And what's another thing? Oh yeah. So if you're not on the subscriber to the podcast, you should check that out too. Doug.Show podcast. It's a lot of stuff like this that we're talking about, but it's a little more casual. I think it's casual, although this is quite casual as well, but at least I hit a topic. We talk about it. Sometimes I go on a tangent, the normal stuff. So have a great week out there. We'll talk to you later.